Welcome back to the Sports Talk ATL podcast. I'm Chaser at Sports Talk ATL Twitter, joined by Alex Sword at Go Sports Talk on Twitter and Jake Gordon at Can't Guard Jake on Twitter. Guys, we are approaching the All-Star break, but we recently had a critical series with the Mets. And I think we all talked a lot of shit, came in there confidently. The Braves are the hottest team in baseball. And I think we were all a little bit surprised with the result. I mean, to be honest, the Mets were without two of their best players. Their lineup looked like a AAA lineup. And the Braves just got outpitched in every game of the series. You had Fried, Strider, and Morton. They all looked pretty bad, especially for their standards. Scherzer, Peterson, and Bassett all looked really very good for the Mets. They got outpitched in the starting pitching. They got out-hit. They just got flat out beat by a team that was better over those three games. But did that series change, kind of how your opinion of the Mets are moving forward and how you see this division shaking out?
Go ahead, Jake.
I mean, they're both playoff teams at the end of the day. It's still July. That's my thing. It's not that big of a deal. There's still more 12 head-to-head games. But the Braves, I mean, they beat the Nationals yesterday. They got another game with them today. They need to just keep beating up on the bad teams because once you get into the playoffs, there's 3 wild card spots. It's going to be pretty difficult to miss the playoffs if you're a good team. And I think it was Theo Epstein. He always says you want a team that's good enough to make the playoffs because once you get there, anything can happen. I think that what's the next series? Probably in August. But those games are going to get intense because I do know the last series of the year is
five-game series in August. 5-game series in August. August 4th, I think it starts. I don't know why it's a 5-game series. I think it might be one of those random doubleheaders because they shortened the schedule because the season started late. I don't really know what it was, but for some reason we have a 5-game series with them. Or that's what they said on the broadcast. I didn't even know it, but starting August 4th, we supposedly have a 5-game series with the Mets. So
yeah,
it's going to
be. And then the last series of the year, the very last one of the year, I'm pretty sure is against the Mets. So
yeah, it is.
Those games they're only going to get more intense from here. But hopefully the bats show up next time because they sure as shit didn't show up this time.
Yeah, the Braves looked about as bad as they have all season. It reminded us of when they were below 500 for the first few months. The bats weren't there. The pitching was awful. It seemed like, this is such a bullshit thing to say, but the balls, Max Fried had no control. Charlie Morton didn't have control. Even Spencer Strider, though the results were pretty decent, he didn't really have the control he normally does. So all 3 starting pitchers did not have their stuff that we're accustomed to seeing. So, hopefully that'll change. I don't think that, that's what – I think it was atypical of the rotation. The bats were just, awful, bad approaches all around. So I'm not worried, but the Mets are probably better than I initially gave them credit for. I still think the Braves win this division by several games because, it's not just us versus the Mets. We are going to play a bunch of teams and just like we should against the Nationals. We're still a great team. And
and we're not making excuses here. Like, credit to them, they won. Like straight up. Like
no, we got our asses
played
kicked.
like shit. Yeah. We're not saying like, oh, if this had changed, if this had went different. No, we got our asses kicked. That's how it went.
No, we got our asses kicked by what I would say was a AAA lineup. Just an awfully put together group of ragtag scrubs. And listen, I think the Mets are a good team. My confidence has never stemmed from, the Mets are this dog crap organizations. Like they bought a roster that's very good. Their starting pitching is probably the best in the majors, but the Braves are right now, top to bottom in all facets are a better team. And they're a way better team than the team that they played without Starling Marte and Jeff McNeil, but they got their asses kicked. They played terribly. I don't know if it was just, it was like there's 17 games in 17 days, they haven't had a rest day and whatever, but they played terribly. They got outpitched. They got out hit by a AAA lineup. Their approaches at the plate was bad. They got beat fair and square. And this is the one thing I'm going to give the Mets some credit here because while I don't think the Mets right now are a World Series roster, I don't think they would have a chance of winning the World Series. They have amazing starting pitching and that some of those guys can move to the bullpen and they're going to get, but after the trade deadline, I'm telling you this team, I see them going after Wilson Contreras. I see them going after another DH bat. Like if they go and do that, that's when you're talking about a very dangerous team that can win a World Series. So while I don't think the Mets roster right now, when we play them on August 4th, which is right after the trade deadline, I expect them to be a 10 times better team. I would almost guarantee you right now, and I'm just going out on a limb and making a prediction here, that they end up with Contreras. I bet you they end up with Wilson Contreras. Their catching situation, while they're defensively okay, they get no offense out of that. If they can go from that to Wilson Contreras, I mean, that's, 5 or 6 wins right there. And then you talk about adding another bat instead of
Trey
JD Davis.
Yeah,
like or Dominic Smith. I don't know what's going to be out there. I mean, to be honest, if the Giants spiral out, I talked about the Braves reuniting with Jock Peterson. If I'm the Mets, I go get Jock Peterson. I mean, that to me, you put him in your DH, you add Wilson Contreras. Now you're talking about a team that can win a World Series, especially if DeGrom comes back healthy. So I'm going to give him credit. They have the potential to be a World Series team. They just got to make moves, and I think they will. So this is going to go down to the wire. What I always said is if they don't get better, if they don't adjust their roster, they have no chance of winning this division. They're going to adjust their roster. They'd be stupid not to. They've got way too much talent. They have a potential to win a World Series. But, this division is important. You talk about the wild card, but now you got 2 teams getting postseason byes this year. Like, this division is going to be one of those byes. You don't want to be playing it. I think it's a 3-game set with those wild card teams. I don't want to be in that bullshit because you saw we are a significantly better team than the Mets were on paper. Going into that series without McNeil and Marte. Guess what? We lost. It's baseball. You can lose 2 out of 3 to anybody. So I don't want to be in that bullshit series. So this division, not only for pride, it's prideful, 162 game season you want to win, but this division is going to have a first round bye implications. And you definitely want to be one of those teams with a first round bye.
Yeah. Also, if Jock goes to the Mets, I might stop watching baseball. At least,
yeah. I mean, I hope the Giants don't sell. I mean, given that there is, whatever 6 wild card team or 6 teams making the playoffs, like you hope the Giants don't sell. But if they do, I mean, tell me that's not the perfect addition. I mean, that's perfect for them. Replacing Dominic Smith or whatever, or JD Davis in the lineup with Jock Peterson, and then you get Wilson Contreras. I mean, I'd be all over this. I don't think it's that hard for the Mets to get to the point where they have a very, very, maybe even the best team in baseball. I don't think it's that hard at the trade deadline because there's guys out there that fit their roster perfectly.
While we're on this too, it's going to be so hard to find an American League team that's selling. Have you seen how close the division is?
Yeah,
it's
the
ridiculous,
Orioles aren't
man.
selling. No.
Yeah, no. I mean, I was looking the other day. Every team in the AL East is above 500. The AL Central, I think is separated by 6 games, maybe. In the AL West, I mean, there's probably going to be 3 teams in the AL that's going to be selling. So it's going to be hard to find trade partners because if you look at the NL East, probably eliminate Washington and Miami. They're probably not doing business with you. The NL Central's got some good teams.
Washington's
The NL West
interesting though.
Yeah, I just
Josh Bell. Josh Bell, that guy's having I was looking today. I did a little article on maybe us going after him. If you're willing to part ways and just say, hey, Marcell Ozuna, you're just not cutting it, and eat that bullet and just send him to the bench for the rest of the year and then figure out what to do him in the offseason, Josh Bell would be a hell of addition for the Braves, for the Mets. I mean, the guy's hitting 300, 2.8 WAR. He should be an all-star, honestly. And, he hit a home run last night against us. Really, really good player. I feel like the Nationals would probably deal within the division. I mean, why wouldn't they? Take the best damn offer. What do they have to lose? They're not winning shit, and it's a 1-year deal,
But the Nats are probably in the worst position in all baseball. Actually, in terms of they're on the hook for Patrick Corbin in Strasburg.
Yeah, who we see Corbin tonight, and Corbin has
trying to give him half a he doesn't want it. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough about Washington. Should we go ahead and talk about Washington since we're playing them right now? But
we can't. We do have Corbin on the mound tonight. To be honest, this is a series the Braves need to sweep. I know we've won 8 in a row against them, which is the longest streak, and I don't know how long, but it's definitely been very long. But this is a series. We hit bombs in Washington. We crushed them when we're on the road. I think we have 22 or 23 homers in our last 7 games in Washington Nationals Park. It's something ridiculous, and I think Michael
Harris already has 4 home runs against him, but he debuted 2 months ago.
Yeah, because I think he had 2 in one game, and then he hit that bomb the other day when, I think we were there, Alex, after we left, though. It was in, the 8th inning after the rain delay, and then he hit one last night. Yeah, so, Michael Harris, that home run last night was huge because he started, he was struggling. You kind of start thinking in the back of your mind, and if we're thinking it, he's thinking it, maybe, they're catching up to me. Maybe they're figuring it out. Comes up, huge homer, 10 pitch at bat too, 10 or 11 pitch at bat. And then the play he made in the outfield, the following frame was just absolutely inhuman. He threw it 94 miles per hour across his body.
I thought he was just getting the ball back in the infield.
Me too.
I didn't think he was even trying to throw him out.
Me neither.
I don't think 99% of players in the MLB, 99% of center fielders even attempt to make that throw home. I don't even think they attempt it, let alone actually do it. Maybe prime Jeff Francoeur attempts that, and he throws it over the catcher's head because, like, he was so inaccurate. But, like, I mean, he threw it on a dime, like, and it had a lot of arc, but it was still clocked at 94 miles per hour. It just absolutely absurd across his body. The guy's a superstar, and I tweeted it out when the whole Baseball America podcast before the year talking about the Braves system, and most of it was about Michael Harris, and they're like, yeah, I think Christian Pash or Michael Harris might be better than Pache defensively. And I was like, whoa, like that's big. But I mean, dude, when you look at it now, how could you disagree? I mean, he could easily win the Gold Glove. I think he might be the favorite to win the Gold Glove in the National League, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, probably. I mean, if he played the whole year, he'd probably be an all-star. I mean, if he was playing the full season, he'd probably be an all-star. So that just goes to show. I mean, he is unbelievable. Yeah, and the slumping thing, I must have said right before he hit the home run, I was like, oh, damn, dude, he's slumping hard. And he has been slumping hard. I mean, his batting average just dropped like 20 points in the last, week and a half.
7 games. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that was huge for him. He went up in the zone and just pimped it. I mean, it was it was inside too. He turned on that thing. I mean, he is absolutely unbelievable. I think, for the rest of the season, and, it's going to keep happening where he just does shit like that, where he's throwing across his body and gets a guy out at home. He's going to continue to do things. He's a super athlete. This guy is already the most athletic player on the team, which is incredible because we still have Dansby and Ronald Acuna, and they are super athletes. So he's already a star. I mean, the NL Rookie of the Year is just between him and Strider, honestly, unless both of them just completely fall off. And we've seen that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of stars, Austin Riley, probably the biggest all-star snub I've seen in quite some time. The guy is on pace for 45 homers and 40 doubles, which is something, Chipper Jones did as an MVP. But what I thought was so funny when you wrote that article is I found that stat that Chipper Jones that same year also wasn't an all-star. So maybe this is the year. I saw a list out the other day. They had Riley as in the 5th spot for NL MVP. I would say that's probably about right. I mean, maybe you can name a couple guys ahead of him, maybe even Dansby Swanson. But I think over the length of the season, when you look up and Austin Riley has 40 to 50 homers, is hitting 300 and playing pretty good defense at the hot corner for a team that wins the division, he's going to have a very good chance of taking home that MVP award, but he's not going to be an all-star, this is why all-star games in almost all sports, like we saw AJ Terrell not make the Pro Bowl. It's just like, why do we even have these? Like if the league can't come in and say, yo, this guy obviously deserves to be an all-star. I don't care how many spots are on the fucking team. Like Austin Riley needs to be on the team. Like, how does Garrett Cooper get in as a DH just because he doesn't play in the field? The guy's hitting .299 with 7 bombs. Like, it's just absolutely ludicrous that the league doesn't have him in there as an all-star game. I still think there's a tiny chance he gets in somehow, but it's just like, dude, like, it's common sense. Use common sense. Like, create an extra spot. Do whatever you have to do. But, like, at the end of this guy's career, someone's going to pull up his stats and argue and be like, oh, he's only a 5-time all-star. It's like, well, this dipshit didn't make it when he hit 25 homers before the All-Star break. It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, it's a shame. Ty France both. They put in Corey Seager over Ty France, which I thought was very strange as well.
It's a shame. I mean, it's in all sports, and it's a marketing ploy to get the fans more engaged, to have them, believe they have an impact on the game. They're like, oh, well, we are important, and it's a shame because a lot of people's legacies, football, basketball, and baseball, it's all tied to these all-star games, especially incentives. Incentives are tied to these all-star games and these Hall of Fame debates where it's, he's only got 5 all-stars. It's bullshit because, fans account for a large percentage of them. And, the average fan's an idiot. I'm an idiot. It's ridiculous. And that's just how it works. And unfortunately, the cream certainly rises to the top, like you always say, Chase. So let's hope he just gets in.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to get in. He definitely deserves it. I don't know if it's going to be an injury. I don't know if the league's just going to have to make another spot. He definitely deserves it. Regardless, I think he's got a great shot at winning MVP. And as far as just like the team goes, I mean, the guy's just proven he's an absolute superstar over the last year and a half, which is the most important thing. Like, Riley's such a humble, down to earth. Like, he's 25, married, has a kid. Like, he's 18 times more mature than I am, and he's 2 years younger. Like, he's just he's just a great dude, and it's almost like it doesn't even faze him. Like, getting snubbed is it's just not his top priority. And the Braves just have a superstar first baseman. And it's not something we're going to get into, or third baseman. It's not something we're going to get into, but I mean, God, getting this guy locked up to an extension somehow, buying out those years of arbitration and getting him locked through just maybe 2029 or something. So these all guys kind of have the next 8 years with us would be insane. Another guy, I said first baseman on accident, Matt Olson, Matty O-bombs starting to come alive. All of a sudden, guy's got 16 homers on the season, on pace for 30. Has hit 3 in his last 3 games. Are we starting to see the real Matt Olson here over the last few games?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Batting average just fools people. I mean, I know there's a lot of casual fans, but people just see that 250 average. Though he's not as good as Freddie. The guy's on pace to hit 60 doubles, which is actually more rare than 60 home runs. Which, you got steroids involved in all that. I'm not going to get into all that. Hitting 60 home runs has only been done 6 times, and I don't think it's been done since like the 1920s.
It's been done one time legit. Roger Maris. It's literally been done one time legit by anybody. I think Judge was kind of on pace, but he's not going to get it.
I think Castellanos hit 58 or 59 like 2 or 3 years ago, and I think that's the closest anybody's been recently.
Was it Castellanos? I thought it was Stanton. I know Stanton.
It was Castellanos.
Stanton almost hit 60. I think he fell a couple shy too.
But Matt Olson may come up a few short. But at the end of the day, like the guy has been providing good offense for what he is, and I think a lot of people have warmed up to him. I've always been a huge supporter. I love his game. I just want to see his defense keep improving. He has been playing a little bit better. He still has a couple of like shaky plays, but I'm way more worried about his defense improving than his offense. His offense has been fine this year.
Yeah, despite all the Freddie Freeman noise, I mean, he's handled it like a pro's pro. The guy is just incredible. He might be nicer, more professional, or as nice, as professional as Freddie Freeman. The guy in his first year with the Braves is rivaling one of Hank Aaron's record for the most
extra base hits.
Extra base hits. I mean, this guy, the Braves just landed another star. It's Alex Anthopoulos should never be questioned. I mean, I seriously don't even understand the thought process behind some fans who were giving this guy shit earlier in the year because he slumped a little bit. I mean, all things regress to the mean, and this is who he is. This is who Matt Olson is. It's incredible. We just keep doing it. We have stars everywhere. We have an opportunity to win 3 World Series in the next 8 years. I mean, a legit shot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you limited it to 3. I mean, we're going to have the same fucking team for the next 8 years. I'm not joking. I mean, I know it sounds ridiculous and baseball's a crapshoot, but we're going to have an opportunity to win it every year, whether you can do that or not. But yeah,
problem is paying everybody. You're going to have to pay everybody.
Well, all those guys most of these guys are locked up. And like I've said, like payroll is only going to keep jumping because you go to the Battery, it's an amazing place and it's packed every night. And Liberty Media's already said, as attendance keeps rising, as they rebound from COVID, they also have F1 that's just printing them cash. Like they're going to spend money and they're going to keep this team really competitive for a long time. We got to replenish that farm system, which the MLB draft coming up on Sunday will have a big say in. So hopefully they nail that. We'll talk about that after it happens next week. How about another all-star snub? And I know we don't want to talk about him that much, but Freddie Freeman. I mean, that guy doesn't make the all-star game. He goes to LA and people are just like, nah, fuck this guy. It really is. I mean, that is honestly what happened, though. I mean, the guy, you go look at his numbers. He's hotter than any player in baseball right now, and he's hitting well over 300. And he has like 4 WAR, leads the Dodgers in WAR, or maybe tied with Mookie Betts. And he literally doesn't make the All-Star game. So I feel bad for him.
Kevin Durant on the Warriors, man, they don't love you like that.
Yeah, no, they don't.
You're not Steph. You're not Draymond. You're not Clay. You're KD.
It's without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. And that's just a testament to the whole thing. So kind of sad to see. He definitely deserves to be on there. I hope he gets on there too because I'm tired of the whole hating Freddie thing. It's moved on. Another guy that needs some credit for some all-star consideration, Kyle Wright, now leads, I think, all of majors with 11 wins. First guy to get there since
Jair Jurgens.
Jair Jurgens, who had 12. And he was the first one to get double digits since Tommy Hanson, RIP to Tommy Hanson. So, but yeah, that guy, I mean, last night was just such a perfect example of who Kyle Wright's become. He's pounding the strike zone, just attacking a weak Nationals lineup. He gives up a couple runs off a Josh Bell homer, gets out of some trouble, gives up another run out of a bases loaded jam. And then he comes in, he throws 5 perfect innings to finish the night and never stopped attacking the strike zone. That's just not who Kyle Wright was, even last year, 2 years, 3 years ago. And now you're looking at a guy, Luke Jackson tweeted out, it's fun watching this guy become a bona fide ace.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of got that. He's got that dog in him. He's kind of get that mentality now where he's not.
Like Max Fried almost.
Yeah, he doesn't piss down his leg every time one thing goes wrong and doesn't give up 6 runs in an inning and then gets pulled after 2 1/3 because he can't handle the fact that he's faced a little adversity. That's over with, and the fact that he has the stuff that he has, he's out there pitching confidently, and I think that was really we preached this. This was always the thing, man. It's easier said than done, but if he would just go out there and trust his stuff and throw strikes, he would be fine, and he's doing that now.
Yeah, on a side note, I think I noticed, it seems like every time Michael Harris has an incredible defensive play, Kyle Wright's pitching. Last night and then a couple weeks ago to that shot to right center that shouldn't probably have been caught, and Michael Harris just outran it. Actually, it was probably more than a month ago, but still, yeah, Kyle Wright's he's the real deal. I mean, he's definitely number 2 in the rotation at this point, and I don't see him moving, that's for sure.
Yeah, him or Strider for sure. But I'm going to be honest, guys, like wrapping up with this Braves talk, I'm kind of just ready. And I never say this because I want there to be a Braves game every day when the Braves don't play. There's no other sports on right now. I have no idea what to do with my life. Like, what do I do? Go to sleep at 7? But I'm kind of ready for this. I feel like the Braves too are just ready for this All-Star break. They're coming up to end a stretch of 21 games in 21 days. Pretty incredible. That usually never happens. Usually the max you ever see is 20. But yeah, they need this rest more than any other team. So hopefully they can finish this out strong versus the Nationals with a sweep, extend their win streak against them to 11. But yeah, they need this as bad as anyone. Let's get into our Just Stop Tweeting of the week. We got a fun one. Let's look at this thing. What do we got here? It's about Trae Young, right?
Oh, I mean, it's just classic Bill Simmons.
Classic Bill Simmons Boston bias, hating on Atlanta. Trae Young, by The Ringer, was listed as the player with the 17th most trade value. 17th. That doesn't sound too bad because I will say there are a ton of NBA players that are, really, really good nowadays. But then you look at the guys in front of him. Scotty fucking Barnes is ahead of.
Hey, hang on. Here, I want to pipe in on this. They're obviously not on the same level. I can understand Scotty and Cade just because there's a potential factor there, and they are on their rookie contracts. Where I have an issue is Anthony Davis at 12.
But what about Paul George?
Paul George at 14. Even Jimmy Butler, and I think Jimmy Butler's a great player, especially in the postseason. Jimmy Butler's like 33 or 34 years old.
Evan Mobley.
Wow.
Like I like Evan Mobley, but he's in a different tier. Kevin Durant is 10. Evan Mobley's ahead of Kevin Durant.
It's just bad. Like what are y'all talking about? Like,
and I love Evan Mobley, and I think he could be a star. But I mean, what are we talking about here? And then it's just like Trae Young. I mean, just the disrespect this man gets, it's truly incredible. LeBron James isn't even on this list.
If you took his name, and you just did like a blind resume.
Yeah, I saw a tweet yesterday that was comparing Halliburton to CP3 in their second seasons. And then I looked up Trae stats, and it's not even close, dude. I mean, Trae Young is, CP3 is a certified Hall of Famer, first ballot, arguably one of the best point guards of all time. And his stats don't even hold a candle to Trae Young, dude. I mean, this is ridiculous. Well, yeah. When is this guy going to get his due?
Well, it's amazing because Chris Paul didn't even reach a conference finals until 2 years ago. And you would think this guy has he's a no doubt Hall of Famer, and Trae Young's already accomplished his best accomplishments by year 2. I mean, It truly is incredible. And I just don't understand when it stops, because he already showed he can win. I mean, arguably would have gone to the NBA Finals had he not got injured. Went to an Eastern Conference Finals in his third season, first year they had any talent around him. Last year, obviously, was a drop-off, but he still averaged close to 30 and 10, led the league in all points and assists. When are we going to stop this? When are we going to stop this narrative? And it's sad to say because of who he is and being such a polarizing player, he's probably going to have to win a championship before anyone ever gives him a goddamn piece of credit.
I love it. So so this is always perfect for me because I'm a certified Chris Paul hater. And this is one of my favorite memes, like the flirting versus harassment meme. And it was the one, it was like Chris Paul in the playoffs, like pretty much the same stat line as Trey against the Heat. And it was the flirting versus harassment. Chris Paul, you know, Chris Paul doesn't have any help, all this shit.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's that same meme where it's like, put a shirt on, fat ass versus, like independent woman, where Trey Young's, in the Eastern Conference Finals, and it's like, oh, and then Chris Paul is like, oh, it's just ridiculous. I mean, and I'm telling you, it's the weird haircut and the height. I don't know what everybody's problem is with the hair, but like, get over it, dude. Get over it. Get over it. And the height thing, it's
what I always say, man. Like, just good-looking people have just like advantages in life. Just like they're more liked. Like, and unfortunately, Trae Young is not that good-looking king like some of the other guys in this world, and he just gets hate because of it. They're like, dude, why is he better than me at sports? It's like, get over it, bro. Like, get over it. He's better. Like,
did you see the thing from last night? It was Donovan Mitchell. The Knicks package for Donovan Mitchell. Did you guys see this? It was like quickly topping Grimes and I think 6 first-round picks.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that real quick. Knicks get Donovan Mitchell. Are they anything better than a play-in team?
Dude, they're food. So. You want
to talk I really don't think they're I mean, they didn't even make the playoffs this year. I don't think they're a play-in team in the East. Anything more than a play-in team in the Eastern Conference.
Look, you can call me a hater, you can call me whatever. I am not moved whatsoever, especially on the contract.
And how does that even work?
Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell backcourt,
and RJ Barrett, what are they? Are they going to run together? Those three are going to run together.
Yeah. There's no way that they could even keep RJ Barrett if they wanted to acquire Donovan Mitchell.
Yes, they are. They would. They're not trading RJ Barrett. He's not going to be a part of the deal. 0% chance. So
I don't think that
go ahead. The Jazz are doing it for picks. I mean, they already have like 5 from Rudy Gobert. Like, they're trying to literally get
if they get 11 extra first-round picks.
They'll have 11 first-round picks. They'll have a whole team of first-rounders.
I would kind of really enjoy that as a fan. Yeah, that would be really fun.
I mean, dude, getting 6 first-rounders from the Knicks, like, bro, like what we just said, they might not even be a play. They're probably a play-in team at best. Like, you could be getting some lottery picks. And like in 6 years, the Knicks will be just dog shit again. You'll be getting first overall picks. This will be the greatest swindle. If I'm the Jazz, I am saying 6 first-round picks. I don't even need Obi Toppin. Like, keep your fucker. Keep quickly. Like, just take them. You guys want to, like, I might take them just so they're worse. Like, just so they're worse off. That's about the only reason. But in 6 years, the Knicks, like, they'll be still trying to get LeBron James to come to New York. He's like 44. Like, they'll be like, I think LeBron's coming to Madison Square Garden.
The Knicks, too, is like, I would have no problem like giving up the picks if I'm the Knicks, because what was the stat? They hadn't re-signed one of their own draft picks. Mitchell Robinson was the first draft pick they had to get another contract since like the 90s.
Yeah. I saw some people talking about Donovan Mitchell just being a chunker if he goes to the Knicks, but he's a complete difference maker if he goes to the Heat, and it was a beautiful move, and I couldn't agree more. I just couldn't agree more. I love him with the Heat and hate him with the Knicks. I love it.
Yeah, but it's not even that like I hate, like I actually like kind of like I don't like the Knicks because of like, I guess the little rivalry they have. I don't really think it's much of a rivalry. No, obviously Trae Young versus New York is, kind of cool. But I've always like loved the idea of MSG and thought like basketball would be better with the Knicks. So if the Knicks had a good team, like I think it would be cool. But I really just don't think Donovan Mitchell moves the needle for them at all. And if he did go to Miami, I'd be like, damn, they could win a championship. It's just that simple.
Yep.
Yeah, and the thing is, I like I said, not moved by them really. Dude, Jalen Brunson and you want to talk about people talk about the Hawks defense in the backcourt, but not as much with Murray anymore. Absolute food. Absolute food.
Jalen Brunson's
Barrett
not that
too.
bad.
I mean, what is
Jalen Brunson's decent.
Is Barrett going to play the 3? I mean, what the fuck are we talking about?
No, here's the thing, dude. And another thing with RJ, like him and Randall and Brunson are all left-handed. Like if you chopped off their right arms, like they all can only go to the basket.
That's kind of cool, though. That's kind of cool, though.
I forgot Randall's even in the league, to be honest. He just like became so irrelevant after his
He has one of the 5 worst contracts probably in the whole league.
Didn't he get wasn't he first team All NBA?
I think so.
The Eastern Conference Final run. That was that year, yeah.
Yeah, won one game in the playoffs against the Hawks and chanted, "We want."
And Solomon Hill just like locked him down. Solomon Hill, dude, locked his ass down. Said, "Say goodnight."
Solo is like our Guillermo Heredia. Like he's our little mascot.
I think we need to re-sign him.
I agree.
I think bringing him back on a little 1 year, $1 million deal.
Get some swords on the bench.
Yeah, we do. We definitely need something. I mean, we need something. Let's look at this list. Does one of you guys have it pulled up? The PFF list of college quarterbacks. It's just
I can pull it off. Oh my god,
it's one of the worst. It's one of the worst lists of all time. I mean, it's also just like who allowed this graphic to be tweeted. You have like Slovis still at USC, Spencer Rattler's the third best quarterback in college football apparently.
I love you guys.
Stroud's
if you ever considered trying to post something that fucking stupid on the main account, I would actually put a stop to it. I would put a stop to it. Here's my thing. Okay. So there's obviously so much wrong with it. And like if you disagree,
Can you send it to us or send it to the group so we all have it in there?
Personally, like I have Caleb Williams at 1 because I think he's going to go crazy in Lincoln Riley's system. Whatever order you have Young, Stroud, and Williams in as your top 3, cool. Don't really care. You can slice that pie 100 different ways. Spencer Rattler at 3 is just hilarious to me. We're talking about a guy that was benched in the most quarterback-friendly offense in college football. And now that he goes to South Carolina, he's better than CJ Stroud. All right, sure. Whatever, man. And then but my thing is, too, this is how I know they're not serious. They got Keaton Slovis on there, and they still have a USC tag next to him. He's been at Pitt for like 6 months.
I don't buy the Dylan Gabriel bullshit either.
Fuck no.
That is such bullshit.
Lincoln Riley's not in Oklahoma anymore, guys.
That's what I keep saying. That's like I get like Brent Venables is a good coach, and he got the guy from Ole Miss. What was his name? Lady, or whatever his name is. Jeff Leedy, I think is his name. Something like that.
I like McCall. Sam Hartman's underrated. You ever watch a Wake Forest game? They throw it all over the field. It's pretty exciting. Wake Forest overs. Watch out for those. When we start doing Wake Forest overs, jump on that bandwagon early because I'm telling you, they don't play defense, but they throw the ball all over the yard.
We were talking about this on Baxter Street Boys, being Cole's new podcast. I'm putting a tickler in this right now. NC State's going to make the playoffs. They got the second best defense in the ACC, and their quarterback Devin Leary, he should be on this list.
This is me spitting at you.
I'm telling you.
NC State?
Yep. NC State.
LSU.
NC State, Georgia, Ohio State, and Bama.
Legend status.
I think Georgia's going to come up really short this year. I really do.
I think they're going to lose their first game in Atlanta in December. That'll be the first loss of the year. Have you seen their schedule?
You think they're going to lose to Bama? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Because I don't think anybody's going to beat Bama. I think Bama will go sit.
Well, the East is shit. So that's not really saying much. I guess it is. I mean, the East is shit. Oregon is shit. I mean, Cristobal just left that. I mean, Dan Lanning? Poor guy.
I think Bama's really
He's going to get.
Poor guy. He just got one of the best quarterback recruits. Oregon will be like in 2 or 3 years. Oregon is going to be a very, very good team. Right now,
I think Bama.
They were a good team. They were a good team with Mario Cristobal. Now they've just lost all steam. I do not.
I'm excited to see Miami and Cristobal. I really hope. Miami
I am too. College football's better.
And I like what Sarkisian's doing at Texas. Well, I mean, I like Sarkisian. He hasn't really done shit, but he's recruited decently. You know. I think Bama is really, really good. I think they're definitely the favorites to win it all, as they are pretty much every year. Bryce Young, I think, is the best quarterback in college football. They have a ton of guys returning. Will Anderson. They got 2 of arguably the best pass rushers in college football. I think
they have the 2 best.
Yeah, I think the 2 best players.
Yeah, Will Anderson and Bryce Young. But I am saying like that Bama team. That last year was not anything special. I mean, took a terrible LSU team, took them to the 4th and goal. And that happened like 4 teams. They lost to A&M on the road. I know they kicked Georgia's ass. That was really the only moment they looked like a really, really good team.
Auburn, they had to go 99 yards to beat Auburn.
Yeah, I mean, So as much as we're like, oh, they bring everybody back, they're going to just kill everyone. It's like, well, they didn't really kill anyone last year. They looked good one game. So everyone's kind of penciling them in like, oh, Bama's going to win it all. They're going to go 15-0, like da-da-da. And I get it. It's easy to say that because what they've done in the past. I'm just saying, that team that they had last year had a lot of holes in it. And I think Georgia's team had a lot of holes. And I don't think it was like the best college football playoff team ever. I mean, so I think there could be some surprises this year. But as I've said, parity's dead. It's going to be the same 4. It's going to be the same 4 teams. If NC State gets in, man, like we're gonna have to definitely clip this up and give you props, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Devin
it.
Leary, quarterback at NC State, he will be a top 5 pick next year.
I mean, Ohio State is the real deal.
That's crazy with all the great quarterbacks, but
Ohio State's the real fucking deal this year. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, whatever they pay Hartline is not enough. It's genuinely not enough.
I think Keyshawn. Here's a hot take. Keyshawn Booty takes home the Heisman. Takes home the Heisman. Takes home the Heisman. Watch out for that 7. Watch out for that 7.
I think Leary's my sleeper for Heisman, but I it's probably going to be Stroud or Gibbs from Bama. I think those are my 2. We need to do a college football preview show, by the way. We'll save this. This is some good stuff.
I don't think Stroud's that good. I'm going to say
I agree. I
don't think he's that good. Stroud. I think Bryce he's
obviously got a cannon.
Better. Yeah, definitely.
He's got a cannon. I mean, dude, the thing about it is Stroud's got the build. Stroud's got the better arm. But Bryce Young, poise. I mean, every time I watch him play, poise. Russell Wilson-esque. I guess it's easy to say that, but very Russell Wilson-esque.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Have y'all seen thick Russell Wilson? Russell Wilson's a thick boy now. Dude, have you seen him without his shirt? They have pictures of him on his family boat on vacation. He's fat as shit, and it's great. I love it. Just he looks like Mac Jones now. It's great.
Russell Wilson
runs a 4.7, but
Russell Wilson is just I don't know. I don't love him, but he's just so corny, not on purpose.
He's the
that I think it's
cheesiest
very
starting
funny.
quarterback in football. He's so cheesy. It's
awesome.
Really
I love him. I love him.
He's dad cheesy though, so it's kind of innocent.
The fact that he's with Sierra, who was with Future and raising Future's son, it's just
wild.
Let's
talk about that. Those couldn't be more polar opposites. Where Future is literally gonna have sex with you, then go and tell you, I'm going to the club. And Russell Wilson's we don't even.
I'm going to take care. I'm going to take care of your boyfriend's kid.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
there's
no doubt about that. I mean, it was always funny. I remember when we played Russell Wilson in the playoffs at home. Future was always blaring, on purpose, pre-game to the games.
That's awesome.
PFF had another list. This one Falcons fans should find interesting. Finally, some Falcons talks on the podcast. Hopefully, we can get more into this. But they had Desmond Ridder as their top impact rookie for 2022 season. Guys, do you think he's going to be the starter come week 1 or, early enough to where this list makes sense?
So let's start off, but I just want to admit this because I openly admit this all the time. We literally just bashed PFF for 15 minutes. I am cool with PFF whenever whatever they say fits what I my narrative.
Yeah, my narrative. Yeah, PFF's sick, dude. They're not bad at all.
Yeah, so they know what they're talking about here.
Going to win Rookie of the Year.
The college football list was complete dog shit. They got this one right. No, but I mean, hey, we've said before, obviously, I hope he stays healthy. I don't want anybody to get hurt, but Marcus Mariota has been injured frequently in the past. And if Desmond Ridder does have to step in, I mean, it is a quarterback's award. Not a lot of great options this year. I could see it.
Everything coming out of camp is suggesting he might be able to steal the job. I mean, plenty of coaches have said, he's a natural born leader. The guys are just gravitating towards him. He's picking up the playbook faster than expected. He's not having those normal rookie struggles. So everything suggests he could start, but I just have a hard time believing that he could unseat Mariota outside of injury. Just a straight up quarterback battle in training camp. I mean, Marcus Mariota just has more experience. He's seen more from NFL defenses. He just knows NFL lifestyle better. He just knows everything more. And that's not to say Desmond Ridder can't unseat him. Maybe he plays bad or whatever it is. But at this point, I don't think he starts outside of injury. Even if we suck, I mean, we will suck. I still don't think he comes in even to, kind of see where he's at. I don't, because Arthur Smith is not like that. Arthur Smith is trying to win every game. He's not trying to evaluate roster. I mean, last year they were in it until week 16, and I'm not saying this year's going to be different. Matt Ryan's gone, and he covered up a lot of the team's deficiencies. So there is going to be a drop back there, but I just don't think Arthur Smith's going to be, into the whole, let's evaluate the rookie. Let's give him a shot. I don't think that's how he rolls.
Yeah, I mean, I feel.
Yeah, I just think it I sent this to you guys right before we started. Keyshawn Johnson pretty much just blasted the Falcons. It's kind of been saying what I've been saying for a while. which I always caught so much hell for it. When he was like, finally, they just got Matt Ryan out of there because they weren't winning a championship within the next 3 years, and there's no reason to let that guy just get beat to death behind a terrible offensive line. And yeah, he's gone now, and somehow people are still arguing about him every single day, which I think is hilarious. I haven't talked about.
I just wrote an article. Bill Barnwell thinks he's an MVP candidate, and I'm not saying he's not gonna, put up Pro Bowl caliber numbers. I mean, the Colts offense is sick, especially for what Matt Ryan is. Matt Ryan just needs, a competent running game and a decent offensive line, and the Colts have an incredible offensive line and one of the best rushing offenses in the league. So Matt Ryan's going to look really good in Indianapolis. But MVP, I don't know. That's, he leaves Atlanta and now everybody's like, oh, Matt Ryan. It's kind of ridiculous.
Wait, can you run? Pause. Did you
run that back? You just suck.
Yeah. Did you? Subscribe to YouTube to see that one. But yeah, no, and like it's one of those things where honestly, I don't think it'll happen because the AFC is so competitive. I hope the Colts make it to a Super Bowl just because the takes on Twitter will be. I mean,
they're going to make it to the playoffs. The AFC South sucks. The AFC South.
If they don't make it to if they don't make the playoffs coming out of the AFC South, then Matt Ryan is actually.
It's time to hang it up. It's time to hang it up.
Yeah.
I think the Colts. A paraplegic at quarterback last year, and Carson Wentz. I mean, they almost.
I think they have a good chance of winning I think they'll have a good chance of winning it all, actually, or at least like competing with.
Yeah, they'll compete. I think
it's
good
tough.
Chance to win the Super Bowl is difficult to say, but I mean, they have a decent shot. I think at making a conference championship. I don't think that's ridiculous to say.
They do the stuff that matters. They run the ball. Yep. They have good blocking, and they play good defense. That's really what it boils down to.
Matt Ryan can win you games. Like Carson Wentz wasn't winning you a fucking game. Like
Carson Wentz loses you games.
Yes, dude. Carson Wentz is so bad. I can't believe Washington is like into that. I just can't believe he's still getting shots.
You can't believe the Washington football team that named themselves the football team and then followed it up with the Commanders run by Dan Snyder is in to bad football decisions. That's exactly what I could expect. That's exactly what I expect from the Washington.
I just don't understand like Taylor Heineke, like he was like objectively like okay, like mediocre.
He's better than fucking Carson Wentz.
He is, and he was kind of like fun to watch. He was a good story, came from the AAF or the XFL or whatever.
Yeah, he played at Old Dominion.
They're just like, God, we have to give up a third-round pick to get Carson Wentz. Who nobody else wants. We have to.
Him talking about how much Carson Wentz makes and how much he makes, he's like, listen, I know my role. The $27 million guy is going to start. Like, that is hilarious to me. I wish more people were, like, transparent about it. It's like, yeah, I'm not playing. Like, I know my role.
That's stupid. Like, he should be playing.
Oh, yeah, sure. He's probably better. I can't imagine a team following Carson Wentz now. I mean, you've seen it. I mean, these NFL guys know what's going on around the league more so than
they talk to each other too.
Yeah, they talk to each other. They know exactly who Carson Wentz is, and he's a bum, a bona fide scrub. I mean, he's not good.
When you hear like multiple players just like making fun of him, just like, that guy sucks. Like, yeah, have fun with that. He blows. Yeah, that follows you around the league. That's not a good reputation to have.
I remember moving on to. Real quick. I remember we had a very short window, I think, between like Carson Wentz, Deshaun Watson, Matt Ryan being traded. Like there was like a time between them where I was like, I'll take Taylor Heineke on the Falcons. Like
I would love Taylor Heineke.
I would take him over
rather than Marcus Mariota. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But hey, guys, Desmond Ridder's going to win Rookie of the Year, so you guys need to.
All right. Yeah. Anyways,
PFF told us that. Are the Hawks done this offseason? It looks like they are after a lot of reports of John Collins being for sure out of here. Jake Fisher of Bleacher Report was part of those reports. DeAndre Hunter extensions getting done. Now it seems like an extension for Hunter seems unlikely, especially before the start of the season. John Collins looks to be standing pat in Atlanta as the team's third option. Guys, how do we feel about Collins sticking around? Because I'm pretty excited about it. I think this team, at least the starting five, if you can get some progression from Okongwu and Hunter and maybe even Collins, like you got a pretty solid squad there, especially if Murray and Trae Young work out like we all think they are going to.
I've said it time and time again. John Collins can be a third option on a championship team. I think there's no harm in trying it at least this year. We're going to lock DeJounte up. We're going to have 8 years of chances with Trae and DeJounte. So I don't think there's any harm in trying it. I mean, John Collins isn't a bad team guy. He's actually the best team first player probably of any team I've rooted for. So he's not going to be detrimental to the locker room by any means. He's only going to be a positive influence. So I don't see the point in not trying to make it work. Somebody was interviewing with 92.9 The Game yesterday and was saying how, it's no secret that Trey and John aren't peas and carrots, and that's why the Hawks have been shopping him so hard. This is such bullshit. I'm so sick of it. They may be shopping John, and Trey and John might not be best friends off the court. First of all, that doesn't even matter. Plenty of championship caliber teams weren't best friends off the court. But back to it, it's like these two things aren't mutually exclusive. Like, they can be separate things. They're not shopping John because Trey doesn't like him. And I don't even understand the narrative that they're trying to push with this. It's such bullshit. I mean, it really is.
I just hope that John Collins plays the next 15 years with the Hawks, and there's a rumor about him getting traded every offseason. It just never happens. It would just be funny if every year they're like, "This is the year, guys. John Collins is out of here." On the 7th year running, he's 34.
I mean, it's been the past 2 years.
I'm just glad that maybe they are shopping him. Obviously, they have been listening to offers, but it's kind of been more like, "Hey, are you going to meet this, king's ransom that we're trying to get for him?" It's not like we're just giving away for a first-round pick or a couple scrubs and a first-round pick. They just gave away Kevin Huerter for it, which is the last thing I want to talk about on this podcast is the Kevin Huerter trade, because now that everything is looking like we're not going to make any more big additions, I kind of really hate this Kevin Huerter trade. I don't understand. I don't understand why we traded away one of our best perimeter defenders and shooters for a lottery-protected first-round pick in, 2024? And Justin Holiday and Mo Harkless. What the fuck is that? If we're trying to win, that doesn't make any sense.
I kind of felt like they were gearing up for something. It's the exact same thing that happened with the Cam Reddish trade. I know if y'all remember that. When they traded, they were it was all reports oh, Cam Reddish is being traded for a first round pick. And I'm like, okay, we're about to go get Ben Simmons. We're about to do something else. And it just never came. And I think that's kind of how I felt after this too, which is why I wasn't having a super big knee jerk reaction, because there were still talks of Collins being moved. There were still talks of, Gobert. I think Gobert was still available at the time. I think this was also the peak of the Kevin Durant wants out. I think this might have been the day before the same day. And so everybody was all jazzed up about it, but it doesn't look like anything else is going to come of it at this point.
The only thing I can say is, they got older. Maybe they want more experience. They definitely
they'll probably wait. They'll probably
Curtis
wait.
Played 4 years.
I agree. I'm just saying the only thing that you can look at it and be like, well, what are they doing with this trade? Is they're getting older. Justin Holiday is better defensively than Kevin Huerter. There's no doubt there, but he's not. Dude,
it's not. It is not something that significant. It is not like, oh my God, this guy's so much better. And he's significantly worse offensively. And there's also room for Huerter to improve. He's become a better defender with pretty much every season. He's one of the better perimeter defenders on this team. I know that's not saying much, but defense was definitely not something that you're like, oh, this guy's terrible at, especially in the playoffs. He was our best defender by far. So it makes absolutely no sense to me, especially when you look at this team. We need more shooters. And then the upside with Huerter is 10 times more. He could be a guy who could become a 15, 16, 17-point game scorer. I know he's stayed around 12, 13. But he definitely, he's only, 23 years old? He was drafted at 19. This trade now makes absolutely zero sense. And I know you say the Cam Reddish trade. The difference between that is Cam, 1, didn't want to be there. 2, Cam sucked. Kevin Huerter's already Kevin Huerter's already proven to be at least a solid player, borderline starter, really good 6-man kind of guy. Cam Reddish was it was all about the upside there.
But you still understand what I'm saying, though.
I agree.
It was a setup for something else.
I agree, but I wasn't, even though there wasn't a setup with Cam Reddish, I was still happy to get the first round pick because I was done with Cam Reddish, especially since he was bitching about not playing. And then he goes to New York to go rot on the Knicks bench. Absolutely hilarious. But
it's
that's
less minutes.
But the thing is as well with Huerter's, they were also coming off our Huerter's salary, which is another reason it felt like it was a setup.
Yeah. So that's why I'm thinking, okay, we're going to at least make a splash move. Maybe we're dealing fucking Collins and we're getting another all-star in here or something like that, clearing space. Obviously, this was a salary dump, but why are we dumping salary when we could dump salary next year? There's no way you can convince me that we are a better team now without Kevin Huerter, with Justin Holiday and Mo Harkless. Like, I don't care about the first round pick. There's no way you can convince me that.
I'm going to tell you why we're a better team. Because we added a Wooden Award winner. You ever heard of the Wooden Award? Best player in college basketball? We got Frank Kaminsky, bro. 30-point game last year. What a beast.
I'm sitting here like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Okay.
We have brothers. We have a pair of brothers, too. We have brothers. I mean, we're good.
I mean, if we're stacking up to make a run at Drew Holiday, that's interesting. We're going to have 3 point guards.
Aaron Holiday, not a bad pickup. I actually really like him. Dude he's okay. So he's literally like the dollar store version of his brother, but he is just as like aggressive on defense. And Frank Kaminsky, like I know a couple Suns fans, and they were very upset to lose him, which I was kind of surprised because like when we added Kaminsky, I'm like, oh, haha, Frank Kaminsky.
But see, I'm not hating on any of those deals. I like all the deals. I like the Murray deal. I like the little small deals. I just don't understand the Kevin Huerter trade because this is a team that's obviously trying to win, a championship or at least compete deep into the postseason. I don't know if our roster's ready for championship, but Kevin Huerter just makes us an objectively worse team dealing him. So that just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I don't know. Like I said, I thought they would have used the Kings pick by now. I didn't know if, whatever would be involved. They still have a couple picks. I feel like this may have been more get off the salary and try to recoup some draft capital after you just traded so much for DeJounte Murray. I feel like that is maybe your only rationale there.
Only saved a few $1,000,000 too, though. That's kind of
but it's over
this
the next
year,
3 years. Yeah, then you got 3 years. You got that. He's just entering a 4-year, $70 million deal. So I understand getting off that. I just feel like Huerter's not going to get worse, and he obviously had trade value now. I mean, you got a first-round pick for it, but it wasn't a straight salary dump. So
Huerter was also one of the few guys that we could actually depend on to be healthy for the most part.
Yeah, and
he's been an Iron Man.
And you saw like kind of like the reaction to the players. I guess tweeting out afterwards. It was like he was a good locker room guy. Like he was one of the boys. It wasn't like Cam Reddish, where he was asking to be out and shit like that. He was one of the guys, and it really blindsided the whole team. So I'm going to say this now that we kind of think that nothing else is going to happen, and maybe something does happen, and maybe there was something that they were thinking about happening that was close to happening that didn't come to fruition, whatever it was. But as of now, I really hate this trade.
It's fair.
All right, well, that wraps up this episode of the Sports Talk ATL podcast. Thank you guys for listening. We'll be back early next week talking the Braves. Hopefully they finish out a sweep of the Nationals and whatever else comes up. Thank you guys for listening.